We're back. Episode
We are.
6. That's James. That's Chuck. You can't see my hand
Me.
pointing, but we're back. And, well, we're going to review Night Killer that's been released by Severin and is also streaming on Tubi because our last episode was all about Tubi. And also, Severin's sale is it going on while
Is
recording
it?
this?
Technically
Do you do
speaking,
you do you call it a Severin sale or do you call it a Severin disaster? Because it seemed like a disaster.
It is a clusterfuck.
uh-huh.
So what?
Legit.
So,
What? They were attacked, right?
No.
Attacked.
They have a web host who thinks they get attacked when they don't understand they have a retail company they're working with who gets traffic during a sale. And
Yeah.
tells them they were attacked.
WordPress, right?
it's WordPress.
Okay.
So is
Okay. Well, same thing
Exorcast.com.
happened to me. Same thing happened to me on the old ZombiesDon'tRun.net. It got, they thought it was being attacked because of the traffic, and they ended up shutting it down, and the whole thing got erased, and that's how I ended up with a brand new website.
They couldn't tell between a DDoS attack or high traffic.
Yeah. So
we,
WordPress. Maybe
not
just
Chuck,
Mm-hmm.
not Chuck, but James and I, Dead Rat and Dance Commander were all ready to go at like 10 p.m. waiting for midnight, messaging each other back and forth that Thursday night, and never really came up.
Yeah, the website started, and then, Dead Rat could get stuff in his cart. You could get stuff in your cart. I wasn't even trying because
I couldn't get
tell it
anything
was
in my
broken.
cart until after 1 a.m.
I had
And
a bad
so-
feeling this was going to happen, so I didn't try.
So 3
You
hours
weren't gonna buy
in,
anything anyway.
after everybody's
I have it down.
complaining and stuff, they shut the website down, put a thing up that claimed they had been DDoS'd, and said the next day, midway through the day, that they were just going to reopen it at midnight.
Well, they said 3 p.m.
Yes, first they said at the earliest 3 p.m., and then they said at 3:30 that they were going to open it at midnight. So we waited, and when they opened it up again, besides the fact that sometimes if you tried to log in, the system would tell you it was doing DDoS testing, the website not only did exactly the same thing, it looked exactly the same. So issues people had with certain things they couldn't see, stuff not loading the way they thought it would because of how they reorganized the website. Because I will admit, I double-checked later on, and there were reasons certain things didn't load the way they were supposed to, but it was mostly because of poor decisions in terms of layout, basically.
If they'd have put everything in one section, you'd have been fine.
Which was exactly the way they used to do it and decided to try and make it easier on themselves and shot themselves in the foot.
Well, my
Con
question
exclusives.
is,
Yes,
what is the difference in this sale and every other sale they've ever had? Because this hasn't happened before with them, has it?
Frankie and his pals.
Limited to 100 copies.
That is the difference.
Why even bother? There's only 100 copies. I mean, that's asking for trouble.
So, to be clear, limited to 100 numbered copies.
Oh, so there's going to be a regular version that's not limited.
They already announced after it sold out, and there was about 600 other people who wanted it, that they're going to, shall we say, expedite their non-numbered edition.
Last year, I bought the Combat Shock limited Blu-ray, and I waited till they claimed they had just a handful left before I even bought them. Now, if I'm not mistaken, ain't they supposed to be another version of that, or they get cold feet on it?
No, they haven't. That's been years since that came out. That's definitely never coming back out.
Wasn't that last year?
No, that was like 2 or 3 years ago.
I thought it was last year.
No. Last year was Blood on Satan's Claw around Black Friday.
But
which
the only reason I even mentioned it was there was like one of those vault deals or something, right? Where like the director goes down in there and just picks what they want out of their basement or whatever they got.
Yeah.
And they mentioned there was going to be another version coming out, so I guess they got the backlash and decided not to do it.
I think more what happened was on some of those, they had the guy go down there and he'd bring something up, and then if you read like the information under the video, certain ones they say out of print, as in like they're not going to make another version of it, basically.
Okay.
And I think that was one of the ones with that. But with Blood on Satan's Claw, they said it's only going to be sold during this sale, etc. I don't hold this against them because, as W and I both know, a lot of these companies will only sell some of these limited ones during a sale and then save some and sell them at conventions as exclusives. That's how I got my now out of print Arrow Region Zero Battle Royale set.
Yeah.
They did the same thing with Blood on Satan's Claw. They had about 200 left over, and they said, we are not obviously going to have a convention this year, so have at it. That being said, most people, at least from what I've seen since that hadn't sold out, or at least they haven't said that it sold out, already bought it when they first announced it. So unlike Frankie and his pals, that one probably maybe lasted a little longer. But at the same time, that was also probably a part of it. Was they're like, here, 200 copies of this, you know?
Yep.
And there was a limited run of The Beast Must Die, right?
It's only limited in the sense that it has a slipcover.
Oh, okay.
Remember,
So
the
what-
only thing in the entire sale that they explicitly said would not be sold in any way after it was
Frank and
Bahia
his pals.
Blanca. No,
Oh.
Bahia Blanca.
Yeah, that Franco movie. I put that on my list.
Yeah, that was the only one.
So
Everything
you guys
else.
buy everything?
So essentially, like 3 or 4 a.m. after I had gone to bed that Saturday morning, they said, email to orders@severinfilms.com what you want with your PayPal, and we'll process it that way. Like, Dance Commander was still awake and processed an order, and he got his invoice. I'm still waiting. You're still waiting. I think
I've got
Tyler's
nothing.
still waiting.
Yep. And the thing that was hilarious about that was they announced that on Saturday morning. Saturday rolls through. Sunday comes up. About 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday, they go, so we're going to close that email at 6 o'clock and just start processing orders, or it was Monday, something like that, and we're not going to reopen it till Friday. And so
But the
basically,
the sales
sale
will
will
still
continue.
go on. Yeah.
you know, but yeah. So apparently they had enough emailed orders that they needed all that time because they're supposed to be doing it round the clock in shifts, answering all these emails basically.
I owe somebody that literally just got their reply back about an hour ago. So
Is that the website right now?
No, it's just an image somebody made.
Oh, I get you.
Wow.
I get you.
sums it up. No, but so did you guys buy everything? All the Fulci, all
I
the what? Whatever?
avoided most of the special exclusives because in most cases I can avoid the pricing they're asking for right now because it's probably going to still be there later on. Probably.
I kind of bought a good bit of them.
Yeah.
There are a few that I bought because I was just like, I really want to make sure I get X, Y, or Z.
I didn't
tell
buy
you,
the
boys.
Franco sex films, but
Yeah.
I bought the Fulci stuff, and just because of the rumor going on that they need this sale to stay afloat, so it's like, fuck, if that's the case, I might as well get them.
Now who's
I
what?
don't know that I
heard
believe
rumor.
that. I don't know that I believe that. It was on Reddit, and everybody knows Reddit's full of garbage half the time.
Half the
But
time.
I don't buy it because considering how crazy everyone went for the Al Adamson set, you know, I mean, there's no way.
But look here though, boys. It's a convenient time. Like, okay, the world's going to hell in a handbasket. Obviously, things are probably going to be shut down again. But people are drawing unemployment. People are getting, they're still riding high on their stimulus checks that they got. So I guess that they're spending all that cash for these movies, right? That's what I'm assuming.
No, they're not. Most people have long ago spent that cash.
Not about the unemployment. I've heard some pretty gnarly stories about unemployment coming in for people weekly.
A lot of people's unemployment's going to be whatever extra money they were getting because of the stimulus is ending soon or has already ended.
But now, are you trying to say these people didn't use these last little bit of funds for this sale?
Yeah. I'm also trying to say that the Severin Facebook group is full of people who came in and said, I was only going to spend $100 on this sale, and here's my invoice for $330-something.
That's right. They're eating
I saw a
canned spaghetti
$500
for the rest of the month.
Yeah, and the thing is,
I hope Frank and his pals are good because that canned spaghetti ain't going to be too good.
It looks funny. I thought it looked kind of cute, but I'm not going to spend the money for it. I will say there's a lot of backbiting between Vinegar Syndrome and Severin over this. And
why?
Tribalism. I mean,
ain't they like good buddies?
They should be, but a lot of people are kind of like needling and poking about the issues with the website. And I won't deny that Severin's issues were way worse than Vinegar Syndrome's issues during their sale. But like Vinegar Syndrome will do the same thing. Their sale comes up, the Facebook group gets loaded with people who are like, here's my $200 order, here's my $300 order, here's my. They're the same people. They're just ordering from different stuff. I mean, just hold hands, live together, and bathe in the blood of all the movies you watch. I don't know.
Well, and Vinegar Syndrome's just not long after midnight, their site crashed too.
Yeah,
but it came back. Yeah, it came back up like 3 o'clock or earlier that Saturday, and it never went back down.
Yeah.
I think they got more money behind their company probably than Severin does, for one thing. But another thing is, who is their website like running off of?
Not WordPress.
Probably like a custom job somewhere with some pretty gnarly hosting, but
a real website.
At the end of the day, though, you have to ask a question of is a lot of this stuff really worth the price that people are spending on it?
That depends on the movie, but you're not wrong either.
I was gonna say most of the stuff I got was 50% off.
I say the thing most times you would wait for the 50% off stuff.
Well, you bought a bunch of the older stuff that you knew were good, right?
Same here. Or stuff I was really interested in that I was waiting to get 50% off.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like a lot of the stuff that they're coming out with, a lot of these newer things that they're like a lot of times with the Vinegar Syndrome, I love Vinegar Syndrome. I'm not saying I don't, but a lot of times, like some of the stuff they come out with, I've never heard of. And I mean, there's some gems in there, obviously, but then there's always some stuff that's not as great.
I mean, Severin and Vinegar Syndrome both have a close enough relationship with Shudder and Tubi that eventually most things they release show up on one or the other at some point. Not everything, but most things. Yeah. So
there's definitely more Severin titles on there than there are Vinegar Syndrome at the moment.
Yeah, Severin's been promoting it a lot that they have that relationship.
Which is that good or bad though? Like how much money are they making off Tubi? Because you got to think they're putting stuff on there like Night Killer. That was a title that, as far as I'm aware, it didn't go out to many people when they were sending stuff out for review. They didn't send a lot of Night Killers out, probably for obvious reasons, as we'll get into later on. But
I mean, when it first got released, I remember the original release. Mm-hmm. And the big thing about it is the same thing that was happening with this sale. We've talked about it before on and off air, which is what VHS was back when, old Exorcast was still running its time. Slipcovers is the now thing. And when they released it, they did a special limited slipcover that they said they could only do briefly because the slipcover said the movie was Texas Chainsaw 3.
Yeah. Well, now here's the thing when it comes to slipcovers. I can see people getting carried away over, say, a Vinegar Syndrome slipcover because those things are thick. Like, they're not like everybody else's slipcover.
Some of them.
Yeah. The archive ones are, definitely.
Well, I mean, like the Jack Frost and all that stuff. It's thicker than the average.
Yeah, it's a little particular too. Yeah.
But Blood Games was just a normal slipcover, but like Vice Academy is real.
It's an archive. It's an archive title.
Yeah. So I mean, like, is any of these Severin slipcovers going to be like that, or are they just basic slipcovers? Because I know the Islands of the Spiders or whatever it was that I got from them was just a regular slipcover.
So F is for Fulci, or Fake is for Fulci, or whatever they call it. I can never remember that title.
F is for Fulci.
It was
Fulci is for fake.
That's it. Fulci is for fake. Keep mixing all the words up. It was a lenticular cover they did. Oh. So it was like 1,000 copies. So I imagine that one will be a little thicker because it has that option. Beyond that, I don't know. Like, I'd never gotten one that had slip.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever actually ordered anything directly from Severin before.
The only thing I ever ordered from them was the Combat Shock Blu-ray, which was a nice set, but I mean, that's calling a spade. The Blu-ray didn't look that nice.
I bought a bunch of stuff off them at conventions, but I've never ordered it. This is the first time I've ever can't even actually say that I ordered off of their website, but this is the first time I've ever made an order.
I've done 2 or 3 of them, and it's weird because, like, the last time I ordered anything from the site, I ordered Devil's Rain during the Black Friday sale along everything else. I talked about this before. They sent me Devil's Honey, and it took me like a month to get emails back and forth to them and get the right movie, and I had to send the other one back and things like that.
Most companies would probably let you keep the one they sent you incorrectly.
I know.
They're in tough times now.
Supposedly.
Apparently. That had to go somewhere else.
Well, the funny thing was there was another time, I can't remember when, I ordered from them, and I got like the stuff I ordered, and then like 3 additional Blu-rays. And I was like, or 2 additional Blu-rays, something like that. And I was like, so I emailed them and I'm like, hey, I've got these things. What am I supposed to do with them? They never email me back ever. So, fine. I tried.
Did you guys ever see? I'll cut you off there. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's right. I'm done. It's just I've tried a few times. I ordered when I ordered all the colors of the Giallo from them. Yeah. That one got delayed, so they sent it with like a card for like a coupon discount during a period of time, and that's when I think I bought RoboWar. I've done a little bit through them, but not a lot, and they tend to have some issues.
I lied. I ordered that from them.
There's weird stories with them. Did you?
Sorry?
Okay. You ordered it from them?
Yeah, I did.
But now this dude online had a video where he went to Walmart and found like professional bootleg copies of Zombie 3 and Zombie 4 at Walmart. And when he got home, they were like, I think they were BDRs, but everything else looked just like what it was supposed to look like. So, and they was at Walmart and they couldn't figure out the price. So the woman asked him, well, what do you want to pay for them? And he goes, it was in the bargain bin. So he got them for like $6, $5, something like that. And, so when he got home and found out they were bootlegs, I reckon he sent a letter to Severin. They eventually got back to him about it, and they actually sent him real copies of both movies.
Which
is a
I can understand
cool
that.
Yeah. But I mean, there's always weird stuff going on with Severin, though. Whether it's it's by their doing or somebody else's doing, it's just always Severin's got weird stuff going on.
And as for Walmart, I mean, I once bought a copy of the Masters of Horror episode Homecoming from there, got home, opened the shrink-wrapped, slip-covered movie, and there was no disc inside.
I remember that.
Walmart is Walmart.
Well, did they take that back?
I went and got an extra. They took a return on that.
Oh.
And gave me them and let me get one that actually apparently had a copy in it.
Yeah. Go Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
I never go, so.
I barely ever go anymore.
Well, their action figure selection is pretty good here lately, so I go to Walmart, even though every time I do anything in public, I get a hard time from my compadres about it because of the circumstances of the world right now.
There's a difference between doing things in public and being slammed on 3,000 thumbtacks in public.
That's right. Fans bring the Corona, Grundy County Street Fight. I'm good.
Oh.
I'm good. I'm almost a weekend, no problem.
Let's give it another week and a half, and we'll see.
All right.
We'll be recording with Chuck in a hospital bed.
It'll be episode 7. Will be the one that tells the tale.
He'll be talking through a ventilator.
This is episode 6.
Yes, it'll be episode 8.
It'll be episode 8 then. Okay.
Yeah. So we do back to back. Yeah.
Yep. All right.
So that's the Severin sale in a fucking nutshell.
Mm-hmm. And as a side bonus on that, don't forget the other piece, which is they're supposed to be releasing the Lenzi box set right now, and no one knows what's going on right now in terms of like getting their copy. You said Diabolic says they don't have theirs. I know that I haven't seen anybody talk in their group about getting theirs yet, or getting like a confirmation of shipping on that yet.
Umberto?
Yeah, Umberto Lenzi.
Is it gonna be movies they've already put out though?
It's the Giallo set, Lenzi and Baker. Yeah.
But I can't think of the actress's first name.
Yeah.
But it's the 3 or 4 films that they made together.
Yeah. Before we carry on to anything, I feel we need to mention Danny Hicks died.
Yes, we should at least mention that.
And which Evil Dead 2, but more to me that's Intruder, and that's like one of my favorite slashers, so that really bums me out. Is he a West Virginia native? I know he did movies in West Virginia.
I have no idea.
He did the Eamon Hardiman movies. He was the voice of the robot in Pork Chop.
I've never seen any of those, if I'm being honest.
I forgot that there was a robot in Pork Chop.
It has sex with a woman. But I believe he did the voice for that. And, I don't know him personally, never got to meet him, but everybody I do know that has met him, like Penny Maples, also from West Virginia.
He's from Pontiac, Michigan, for the record. Yeah,
mentions that he's a really good guy. Obviously ran in circles with Bruce Campbell and all those guys. And like I said, I read he had cancer. I'm not sure which form, but cancer's cancer. It's bad cancer, no matter what cancer it is. And like I said, that bums me out because, like I said, Intruder is one of my favorite movies. So, R.I.P. Danny Hicks. Just want to say that.
Absolutely.
Yes. Cancer does suck because Cancer, it was a few years ago, but Doc Terror,
Yep.
Jimmy,
Yeah.
that was rough.
Honorary one-time member of Exorcast.
Yeah, he'd been on a handful of shows with us, and I'd been on a couple with him and Jeff, but
yeah.
He was my, no matter what was going on, when a new record was being released, he would text me. He was on vacation. He was like, hey, Waxwork's up. And jump on and the website and buy it. I was driving down the road on my way to work, ordering shit on my phone because he was texting me. He was my alarm clock.
Yeah. Is the record thing still in full swing now?
You mean the record trend, you mean?
The
Yes,
vinyl?
it's very much still, and probably even more so. But I'm much like Waxwork Records is my company, and that's the one that I love. But I'm a little more picky now. The first 3 years I've got every single release like a first issue. And then I started to kind of, I really fucking hate this movie. I'm not going to buy the soundtrack. Or I like this movie, but the soundtrack is not good. I'm not getting it. Dance Commander, though, he buys every single one.
Buys everything. Did you
like
get
they
a
just
vinyl
released.
Oh, go ahead. What they released?
They just did a box set of the Shyamalan films, Unbreakable, Split, and whatever, Glass. And I've got no interest in that. So thankfully, I was excited because it's a 3 LP box set, and I'm like, oh god, I kind of hope it's something I don't want, but I'm kind of excited to see what it is, and I didn't want it, and I saved probably $80 or so.
Worth it.
Did you buy the Jason's vinyl release?
The who?
The Jasons.
Oh no.
Oh,
I thought you were actually being honest there.
There was a vinyl release for something they had out.
Yeah, they did a vinyl. I've got that album. Eli sent it to me before it was released, I think.
Yeah.
Or around the time it was released.
That's about the only CDs I still have anymore. Is I actually have the Jason's albums, and support. I bought one of them, and he actually sent me all the rest of them with that one. So I was being supportive.
My kids like the Renfields.
Yeah, R.I.P. Renfields. Right? He's on a different project now. He's on Project 3.
It wasn't that bad.
Yeah. Maybe one day when we get to the Witch House or Witchcraft or whatever series, we can get it back.
He actually, we were talking about this show, and because he was like, why the fuck's it called the original Exorcast? And I explained it to him, and he was like, are you fucking kidding me? And I told him that Tubi has Witchcraft 10 through 16, and then once we find free streaming for 1 through 9, then we're going to do the retrospective finally. He's got to come on the show, and he said he was down for it.
Wow.
So here in about 5 years,
we'll
get to that.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, if this was original OG Extracast, you guys would cover all 75 movies in one podcast.
4-hour show.
And I don't know how you guys had time to even watch all the movies you'd cover in 1 week most of the time.
No kids back then.
Oh, yeah. Well, he still doesn't have any.
No. He's still a big kid.
I think he's shooting blanks at this point, to be honest with you. That's my theory.
I don't know.
All that makeup, causing a reaction.
All right. Let's transition to Night Killer.
Which that works if you think about it.
Sure.
Sort of, kind of. Strange guy in a masky costume with a sexual fetish. It fits.
So, Night Killer.
Terribly acting all along the way.
Anyway.
You can get from Severin when their site comes back up, or you can email them, I guess, whenever their email comes back up, or you can get it on Amazon on Blu-ray. It's free on Tubi.
There you go. Yeah, that's how I watched it.
Yep,
same.
Yep.
And it saved me from buying it, if I'm being honest.
I'm glad I did. I was thinking about buying it, but now I don't think I will be doing that.
That artwork is so cool. Anyway.
I'm not sure yet, but I'll get to why in a minute. I have a reason.
1990, and it was directed by Claudio Fragasso.
Clyde Anderson.
Yes, as Clyde Anderson. And we all know what Claudio is famous for.
Troll 2.
Troll 2. So
well, that explains
once...
a lot.
Well, wait, because the thing is, it's not just that. He also isn't the only director, because Bruno Mattei is an uncredited
director,
second
yeah.
director. Yeah.
Of course.
So the gist of this movie is that there is a rapist / murderer wearing
Every review, every synopsis I've ever seen says it's a
Freddy Krueger
yeah
Freddy
sort.
Krueger-esque rubber mask.
I don't know if I'd agree with that.
No,
me either.
not in the slightest. So he is tormenting women on the phone and then catching them, raping them, killing them. Was it Virginia Beach?
Yes, supposedly Virginia Beach.
Sure.
And he's doing it by just taking his hand and just driving it through their backs, through their chests.
Correct. And this is a rubber glove, by the way, with claws on it, which are also made of rubber. So,
and we're being clear here. We are not saying that the effect is bad, like he's trying to make it look like a guy who's burned or anything. No, the movie is literally a killer who goes out of his way to put a mask and a rubber glove on
and one
to do
glove.
these killings.
One glove.
Yeah.
All the way down to
here. He's strong enough to drive it through the chest or whatever.
Yes, every time.
So,
because it makes it out that these claws, they're like 2-inch like fingernail claws on each finger on this glove, that they're like real. But in one scene, like second or third victim, he grabs it off of his table and it just completely crumbles in his hand because it's made of rubber.
Of course, yeah.
I thought this movie started off very awkward with like a cold open. There was it was just like this. There's the movie. There's no present this. This is featured presented by.
Yeah, you've got almost 10 minutes of film before Night Killer pops up.
Yeah,
so,
kind of like a Friday remake.
I had to check because I thought the movie started like halfway during the movie or something when I first put it on.
My wife and I did too.
There's a reason for that. I was doing a bit of research beforehand, and apparently, among other things, that's one of the things Bruno Mattei shot. Wow. Was the opening sequence.
Which,
very Italian.
One of the best sequences in the film, if we're being honest. If I'm being honest.
I don't think the dance.
It only takes that woman 10 minutes. It takes that woman 10 minutes to die.
And also, I think the dance instructor wasn't acting; she was just kind of standing on stage. Which I should point out, I have a note here. I would like to apologize to the lead actor in Blood Quantum about what I said about acting. Having seen this movie now.
See, now you know. Now you know when someone's actually acting, when someone's just, collecting a check, I suppose. Because they did get paid for this movie.
Yeah. Continue.
So, our lead actress, her name is Melanie Beck, and she is harassed and the character. And raped to the point that she has essentially lost her memory of it. She is legitimately, she's kind of crazy. And she has been released back into the world, but she's divorced. She's got a daughter, but her daughter is with friends, neighbors, whatever, because she can't comprehend real life at the moment. And she has really no idea that this has already happened to her.
I could argue that she couldn't comprehend life before this happened to her, because one of the first things she does is just bare all into the mirror. She's like, I'm back, or whatever, right?
Think about your life.
Yeah. So she wasn't all there before this happened, in my opinion.
Very possible.
So this movie rips off 15 different things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. The killer looks like Dollar General version of Freddy Krueger.
I think you're being generous.
Well, we ain't got there yet, but you rip off Halloween with the ending later. You also have bootleg Dr. Loomis running around.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Black Christmas.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The only thing this movie's got going for it is the fact that one of the kill scenes is very similar to how Jason would kill somebody later on in Jason X, with the dipping of the face into like the stuff. So that's like the only thing. That's its legacy. That
and even then, he still has to shove his fist through her chest afterwards.
exactly.
Which I will point out, you're right, it does rip off about 15 different other movies. You
Mhm.
know what movie it doesn't rip off in any way, shape, or form at all?
The one it was
Texas
named after?
Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
Yes, because this was billed as Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3.
Yes.
There's
Somehow.
not a chainsaw in the whole movie. No chainsaw. You're not in Texas. Nobody's eating nobody. He's not in. I mean, maybe in a sexual sense because he is a perverted killer. But not in the cannibalistic way. And there's not a chainsaw to be found.
I told my wife, I said, I came up with a new term to describe this movie. This movie is a question movie.
Oh,
because you watch it and all you do is ask questions. That's all you do.
How'd
you
it get
stop.
made? Number one, yeah.
Yeah, how'd it get made? Why is the main character's mug in one of the opening scenes half the size of her freaking head? Who wears underwear like that, shall we say?
Italians trying to act like they're Americans, apparently. And this is 1990, boys. There's not very good. There's not a whole lot of good movies in 1990.
This movie has like a very, very elaborate twist to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say I didn't. It was either myself or my wife called the ending, like the twist itself, but not until maybe 5 minutes before you figure out what's going on. So it took us the whole time.
There's pieces where they suddenly kind of start making it abundantly clear something's not right, basically, and it happens, like you said, like 5 minutes beforehand.
It's the Argento way of doing things, right? Once you've eliminated the probable, anything left, no matter how impossible, is the answer, right?
How fucking dare you?
That's paraphrase.
How fucking dare you, Chuck?
I mean, come on, boys. There was no logic here, but it's still, okay. I mean, they try to cover it all up at the end. Well, so and so was acting so and so way because, it's therapy, it's a trap or whatever, it's a trick. But I mean, come on, that guy tries to drown her in the water during one portion of the film.
Yeah,
he basically rapes her. He ties her to a bed and rapes her.
And his voice is awful.
Exactly.
Yes, it is. Both of their voices are awful. The killer and the other character you're referring to. The killer acting on the phone and the other character you're referring to.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just like, I don't know, but they act like, well, this is all what has to be done. And we didn't agree necessarily with the terms of this, but,
Hey, it was just a theory, but the important thing is it worked.
That's right. Good job, generic Dr. Loomis. You saved the day again.
For the record, that cop is the worst cop I've ever seen in the movie.
Yeah, right?
You do something. He's the psychiatrist. What's he going to do?
He's going to write a prescription. This is what he's going to do. But now, it's just like this movie, nothing really makes sense. Nothing really adds up if you think about it. Although, like I said, I give it a little bit of credit because the twist is good. Okay, the twist caught me off guard. So I'll give them that. And everything else is just trying to pick out everything that they ripped off to get to that point.
I read something.
I got some sun today.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've been outside all day.
Fuck.
Claudio Fragasso, apparently, this is what I was saying. I don't know yet if I want to own it. And it's not because it's a good movie. It's not. Mm-hmm. It's that situation where you watch a movie and you go, I want to know what the hell happened. And the Blu-ray
so we need special features.
The Blu-ray has an interview with Fragasso and an interview with his writer and wife, Rosella Drudy.
Yeah.
And so they talk about the movie, apparently. Like, Fragasso was pissed because he didn't know that Mattei was going to shoot stuff. Supposedly, he was trying to make, like, one of those thrillers, erotic thrillers, I guess. And then someone added this slasher aspect to it on some level.
Well, he was doing the other wrong as well.
Oh, yes, that's the thing I was about to say. Doesn't mean he did either one of them right, but that's why the movie feels like it's a thriller grafted onto a slasher.
Okay, give me a quick history lesson. Has Bruno Mattei made anything that wasn't at least partly ripping off something else?
It's Bruno Mattei, of course not.
Yeah.
I mean, that's even in the sense that his like nunsploitation and Nazi-sploitation stuff rip stuff off.
Because James is a huge Mattei fan.
Yeah. I'm not as huge as some, but I at least am somewhat knowledgeable about it. Yeah.
I own a lot.
I'm pretty sure on the last rendition of Exorcast, we reviewed some of the Intervision titles solely because of you, sir.
No, we reviewed No, some of those you reviewed on your own. I hadn't watched them, but you did review with me Hell of the Living Dead and Rat's Night of Terror, the Blu-ray double feature from Blue Underground.
Blue Underground, okay.
Well, the ending of Rats, Night of Terror is worth.
God, that's the best. Yeah, makes the whole movie worthwhile.
Yeah,
absolutely does.
The thing about Claudio Fragasso is, and I realized this after the movie was over, you mentioned earlier, what does everybody know him for? He's the director of Troll 2. Of everything else he's done, he's directed like 30 things, and it includes, have you ever seen, he's apparently an uncredited director on Hell of the Living Dead and Rat's Night of Terror, doing something, but he also did Monster Dog. Anybody seen that?
Yeah.
I think I have.
Yeah, I have Monster Dog, I think.
He did the Bruno Mattei thing of let's make a movie that's kind of like Rambo and stuff, which was he's a co-director uncredited on Double Target. But then he made a slasher called Scalps.
Oh yeah, I have Scalps. I don't have a Blu-ray of Scalps, but I've got the old DVD of it.
Scalps isn't horrible.
But that was under the name Werner Knox.
So that's probably the pinnacle of him if it ain't Rats.
He's uncredited on Strike Commando 2. He did, since we are talking about Severin, he also did another of their releases. That would be Zombie 4 After Death. Oof. Also as Clyde Anderson.
Why Clyde Anderson?
That's the rule of doing an Italian directing thing in certain cases of certain types, Mattei and Fragasso, is you have to do the most American-sounding name you can think of.
So it'll get picked up in the market.
This is how Bruno Mattei became Vincent Dawn.
Now, I would like to...
Sorry, what I was going to say is, Troll 2 is so popular because it's probably his best movie.
You know what? I enjoyed this more than I enjoyed Troll 2. Troll 2 is funny. It's so bad it's funny.
I gotta give the nod to either Scalps or maybe Rats.
He was uncredited. It was mostly Mattei on Rats, so I could give him some credit on that, but that was mostly Mattei. Mm-hmm. But that's the thing is Troll 2, you're just kind of staring at it, but somehow it still makes some weird sense, even though it doesn't make sense why you'd pee on the food to keep people away from it.
Could just flip the table.
Of course. Like in this one, there's an aquarium. Why is there an aquarium? Why is there an aquarium person working there with, random lingerie? Why does the main character do what you said and drop her top for like a minute and a half and just grope herself for a second for no reason?
The logical answer is the distributors needed nudity. That's exactly why she did it. But at the sake of common sense, we got to keep all the markets happy,
Right. But that's the thing is all of this stuff though is you can see a plot. You can see a plot that goes through it that gets you from your beginning to your end in Night Killer.
Yeah.
It's just they don't really seem like they go together completely, and half of it doesn't make a lick of sense because we haven't even touched on the women's bathroom scene, where our main character, after having flipped off someone, the guy decides to chase her to a women's bathroom where she then holds him at gunpoint, forces him to strip to what can only be described as a blue banana hammock, has him flush his toilet, close down the toilet, and then he runs out the bathroom, and as the guy at the place he's at asks him what's going on, he tells him he was molested in the boys' room. And that's an actual scene in the movie that really has no point. Like, it's just there to be there.
Yeah.
That's kind of this movie in a nutshell.
And then to put a cherry on top, somebody watched Halloween, 4 or 5 that day? Halloween 4? Yeah. It's like, I got an idea. We need 10 more minutes. I know what we do.
Bonus points for her being able to pull off that voice.
Yeah, right?
By the way, one thing I want to point out, I don't know if anybody else caught this. Mm-hmm. When one of the characters is calling the cops near the end of the movie, did I hear correctly, and I want to be very clear when I say this, that the guy told the cop something and said the words, neck her, as in neck her? Because it looked to me like he was trying to get away with saying something else, and decided to come as close as he could without actually doing it, basically.
No.
I
did not catch that.
We'll have to go back and repeat on that one. I don't know. I don't know about it.
It was weird because he was saying it like to the cop who was black, and he said it like as if he was saying it to the cop to be angry at the cop, and I actually rewound it like 2 or 3 times. I'm like, what the hell did he just say?
Oh God! Well, there never was a sequel, right?
No. Yes, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4: The Next Generation. No, I'm kidding.
When we go back to Texas, actual Texas. I'm casted out, boys.
This is not good.
This is like 1.5 at best, and purely in the sense of a what the hell was he thinking sense.
If I ever watch this movie again, it'll be just because I'm with a bunch of friends. I'm like, hey, you want to see something bad?
Yeah,
I got
something you can't explain that makes no freaking sense.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the only thing you're going to have a good time with it. Although it was pretty amusing at like 2 or 3 in the morning when I watched it by myself. I must admit, but it was bad for like. Oh, I didn't watch it 2 or 3 in the morning. I've been dropped my head this week, boys. I forgot what time I watched this, but either way, it wasn't good in any sense of what good usually is. You know what I mean?
One of the points I made to my wife, and you'll agree with this, W. It says something about a Severin release when they intentionally don't include the soundtrack as an option, as in coming with the CD.
Yeah,
I realized I'm like,
else,
yeah,
right?
I can tell why this one didn't come with it. Because just like the rest of the movie, the soundtrack is shit. It's bad all around. Hilariously bad, but bad.
Yeah, the highlight of this release was if you could get a copy, it said Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 on it.
That was it.
My wife was angry with me because I chose to watch this.
She hasn't liked any movie you've showed her lately.
She has not.
Well, to be fair, we talked about this while I was audio testing my stuff with you, and I said, you said you'd watched it, and you were just like, oh my God. And I said, maybe we could do it, and you said, no, I don't think so. And then a little later on in the week, you're just like, yeah, sure, let's do it.
And solely because this movie sums up the Severin sale.
Yeah, honestly, it's a perfect microcosm.
And that's why we're doing the movie.
It was what, $12 or $14 during the sale?
Because I watched this the week before, not this past weekend, but the weekend before. That is the reason why this was taken off of my purchase list.
Well, it makes the cut, huh?
It is certainly a thing.
It is that.
And everything we have said, it should be pointed out, everything we have said, there is still probably another 15 minutes of stuff we could discuss of just random, I don't know what about this movie, basically. Take that as you will. See it as a reason to look at it up on Tubi because it's still free on Tubi.
Yes.
You get, 5 minutes tops of ads, the whole movie?
Yeah. Like, I posted on Twitter, I said, hey, does anybody watch anything, anybody using Tubi? Anybody at all? One guy said, it's only standard definition and I can't do the commercials. And I said, well, there's only, there's less commercials in this than one commercial break of something you would watch on television.
Yep.
You can sit through the commercials for all this free content.
Yeah.
You've legitimately got
free.
5 or 6 solid minutes spread out of commercial breaks. That's it. Like 5 or 6 minutes total during a movie on Tubi.
And some of them are like 10, 15 seconds.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt anything.
The longest commercial I've seen was 60 seconds.
Yeah.
And it seems like they put them in pretty good places. They ain't just random. Like they seem like they pop in at good places.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty logical. They don't break up too much flow.
Mm-hmm. But, hey, if you could watch horror movies on TV back in the day, you can watch this.
Yeah, as a thing that may come up in our discussion of our next episode, I don't mind sometimes that it's not the best copy in the world because it didn't always have to be.
Correct.
I'd
probably I'd say, Chuck, I'd go with a 1.5 for this one.
Same here.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 1.
Yeah.
It's casted out. First movie casted out of the new episodes, the new series.
Yeah.
First
the
movie
new
casted
season.
out. We doing seasons?
Volume
I don't
2.
know.
New volume, I guess.
Yeah, you can try to sell it at the end of the season. You can try to sell a DVD of all of it, make some money on it.
But if I'm our resident Bruno Mattei person, all I'm going to say is Claudio Fragasso wishes he could make a movie that rips things off, as well as Bruno Mattei can make a movie that rips things off.
I mean, really, anybody does.
Yeah.
Just make a movie, and anything cool you've seen in any other movies that come out in the last couple of years, just rip it off, throw it together.
Works for Tarantino.
Hey.
He rips off old stuff. He don't rip off anything come out like a year before.
That's true. That's true. I'll give him that.
And before the internet, nobody knew he was ripping anything off.
Unless you'd seen it.
Yeah, but who had seen it, right? Like this back in the old days, people hadn't seen this stuff like the average person hadn't.
So yeah.
If I'd have the internet, I never would knew what Shogun Assassins was, you know.
No, I had Shogun Assassin on VHS.
Oh, what, do you have it now?
No, I had it when I was a kid.
Well, all right. Well, it's hard to say, you know, if you want to get rid of it. I know somebody sent me some other VHS this week that was really nice. So.
Or just buy the Lone Wolf and Club Criterion set.
Yeah, I've got it.
Still need to get hold of that and replace my old Blu-ray set and old Shogun Assassin Blu-ray.
I've got it, but I've only watched Shogun Assassin. I haven't actually watched the other movies.
I really need to sit down and watch those and also the Lady Snowbloods.
Oh no,
I've seen the first Lady Snowblood.
The first one is the best, obviously, but 2's good too.
That's the only one I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, that's the.
I was going to say that's basically those 2 movies is Kill Bill. Throw in a spaghetti western or 2, and that's Kill Bill.
Yeah,
pretty much.
To be fair, that's most of his filmography, though. But anyway.
So yeah, that's the end of the show. That's it. Chuck always has to say something at the end of the show to fuck it up.
That's me. That's my why I'm here. I found my headphones this time though. So good audio. Took 6 episodes.
Yeah, 6 episodes. We got the audio right.
Hey.
Yeah. No elevator sounds.
No elevator sounds.
So, I guess thanks for watching. Share, subscribe, thumbs up, like, whatever. That's
share so I don't have to.
No, you still have to, dickhead.
I share it. I share it today. I post it on my website.
Good.